There we go.
So, hello guys, welcome. We are actually now loaded into this game, which is exciting in itself. We're watching dignitasKiLLeR, Zerg on the right, going up against peawak. My battery charge is low, thank you computer. And so now we're going to go ahead and watch peawak go ahead and play on this as a Protoss. And our Mike's talking to me, so why don't you say hello?
As you get to listen to my girlfriend sneezing in the background, probably. Regardless, this is a Ravenwolf of the Ghostly Crew. I am here just commentating with my buddy Xander, enjoying Zotac Cup, and giving you guys some good coverage. So we're going to see what happens with these two interesting players. peawak obviously don't know much about, but that's the joy of an open tournament. You never know who you're going to get. And of course, KiLLeR, as I was saying earlier, a member of Dignitas, which all their players were hand-selected over a period of 5 years, their little research project. So, guys I thought would have some good talent.
Oh, wait, you know what I forgot to do?
Oh.
Change this. Okay, okay, now we're good.
Let me guess, they couldn't see anything except an overlay, could they?
Basically.
Yep. Number one mistake on XSplit. People forget to change it, including Total Biscuit in DreamHack.
Really?
Even though we have live audience.
Oh.
Yeah. Last match of the night, he was getting tired. But, you know, it's funny how that works.
Yeah. Alright, so now, my mistake aside, we're going to go ahead and watch peawak, as he does have a frontal gateway. Not going to go for a Forge Fast Expand. This is the thing I do want to take note of. But KiLLeR is going for his good old spawning pool first, waiting to see when he's going to throw down his hatchery. Looks like it might be fairly soon, as his drone is down there without a probe to block it. So he should be able to get out his hatchery uncontested.
Yeah, he obviously also got the spawning pool pretty early, just in case that the contest from the probe came. So he would have been in good shape regardless, but always good to be able to do it on your own schedule versus having annoying probe antics. I know I enjoy doing them to Zerg players myself, but...
Oh, a fellow Protoss player.
Oh, yes, but of course. Not as good as you, but still, yes. I love my Protoss.
Oh,
Since StarCraft 1.
Oh, yeah, me too. StarCraft 1 Protoss. Oh,
So.
yes. And then there we are. We're going to watch this probe. We're going to take a few hits from those links. I don't know if it's going to actually survive or not. It's going to be close, as it's now lost its shields, but this takes a long time for links to actually catch up to this. But, oh, no, it gets caught up on the rocks. Yeah, one more shot, and this thing's gone.
Yeah, you always want to try and hold on to every single probe early game if you can, just because they have uses in one way or another. But made that mistake in the rocks, and that'll be the end of that guy's life. So he sacrificed himself for the greater good of early scouting.
Yeah, sort of, though. He actually, the queuing to the watchtower that's blocked by rocks shows a little bit of a lack of knowledge from peawak about this map, because if he had known about that, he wouldn't have done it.
That is true, actually. I'll be curious to see. Obviously, if you don't have a lot of knowledge of a map, that will definitely play out against you long term, especially when you're playing a game like KiLLeR, because he obviously has extensive knowledge of all tournament maps, being on Dignitas. So, going to be curious to see if he can actually get through this map. I mean, it's not the most commonly played on map, obviously, in tournaments, but it's prevalent enough that you should know what you're doing on it. But that, as you said, definitely a sign of not knowing where he's going 100% here. But we'll see how that affects his play. As obviously he's putting his pylon down here, so he's looking to get his expansion out pretty soon.
Now KiLLeR actually has a roach warren coming down now at a pretty normal time. Might not need to get a ton of roaches out. He's just probably waiting to see the expansion, as peawak does have 3 gates either out or on the way, one of them being out, 2 on the way. But looks like peawak's Nexus should be coming up in about 50 minerals time. Sort of waiting to see that. And yep, KiLLeR's got full out vision of that as he just watches it go down exactly. And I don't think he's actually aware. Yeah, he's not aware of the other 2 gates, but it's pretty safe to assume that with the timing of this Nexus, and also with his overlord placement, he's going to be able to see if peawak's going to try something sneaky and actually cancel it and go for an MC4 gate, but doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, KiLLeR obviously likes what he sees. He's kind of moving a few of these Zerglings down. Speed is just about to finish, so they're going to get a little hyper boost, and he's going to speed right by the massive amount of sentries. So he's just going to waltz in here, and it's not a full wall off, so here comes the Zerglings, and there goes your mineral line. Whoops.
Oh, this actually shouldn't be too hard to deal with. I don't think very many probes are going down. It's like 2 might have fallen already. 3rd goes down. 4th goes down. Oh, God. These links are actually doing a very, very large amount of damage. And 1's going to survive with a very little hit points. They're running around the map. It does seem that there have now been 7 probes. Wow, that's more than I thought. 7 probes have now been taken out by Killer. That is huge at this point in the game.
Yeah, that was kind of a big mistake. I mean, if he had just attack, just attack move or anything, just to get those probes to fire a little bit quicker, the Zerglings wouldn't have done nearly as much damage. But he was too preoccupied with moving his army back, it seems, to try and counter the threat, and as a result, took a lot more economic damage than he needed to at that point in time. So we'll see. I mean, it shouldn't set him back too much long term, but with Killer obviously now going for a 3rd base, those numbers add up over time. So we'll see what he does.
And now Killer is starting to mass up a good bit of Roach infrastructure with the fact that he's getting the +1 attack. All he needs is a lair to finish, and then he's going to be able to get GiLLeR Constitution and be in a very good spot. He's also working on taking out the Destructor Rocks at his Watchtower, so it's going to help him just scout some incoming attacks, as he already is seeing this very large army moving around to the middle Watchtower.
Yeah, peawak's got a very sentry-heavy army. I mean, he's going to have to. Hopefully, his sentry play is very good. We'll find out when he gets into an engagement, but that's going to be the key for him. While he's just working on getting his Colossi now. Robotic Space just went down, so we're going to see him pop out some Colossus when he gets a chance. But if it's really going to come down to if Killer pushes, and he's really going to have to use those force fields to great effect if he wants to hold. Because he obviously doesn't want to lose that expansion, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but this is actually a really fast RoboBay. peawak doesn't even have an observer on the field at all. It's strictly gateway units. He's kind of banking on no burrow from Killer, and that's really unfortunate because burrow just started, as well as tunneling claws. There needs to be an observer out in the field soon, otherwise peawak is going to end up losing to burrowed Roach shenanigans.
Yeah, not to mention, obviously, regardless, he still has the ability to go right around any force fields he might have. So he probably was counting those sentries as well and noticed it was a little heavy on sentry and said, okay, you want sentries? I'll get burrowed roaches that can move underground. So bye-bye force fields. They're not going to do anything when he gets into an engagement. So
yeah, and peawak is, he's actually going straight for Colossi, and he just now got his 3rd and 4th assimilators. You generally do not want to get Colossi tech out there unless you have at minimum 3 assimilators.
Yeah, definitely very unorthodox play, showing a little bit of not maximum play in this case. So he's probably combined with the non-familiarity with the map, you can tell he's a good player, but he has some things he can learn as well.
Yeah, he's got some great forces, though, dealing a lot of the roaches, but there are just so many that Killer just took out a huge portion of the army from peawak, and this is not looking too good. And 10 drones are in production right now from Killer. He knows he's in a great position.
Yeah, and now with the tunneling claws just finished as well, he's getting roach speed upgrade now that finished, so he's just going to slowly and surely actually going for the gold as well. He's just going to overcome this map long term, and unless peawak does something pretty crazy.
Ooh, and peawak just threw down a proxy pylon directly next to the 3rd and the gold base, so that could be a little bit of an issue for Killer. I don't think Killer's actually seen it. He has not. That might be what peawak needs to get back in. There's a couple zealots to each of those bases, knock them out. Do not see any DT Shrine or anything, but there's still no observers. If Killer can just push in now and realize that once he burrows that there's no detection out there, it's going to be a straight up win. An Immortal is being produced from peawak. Still I've never seen a no observer play like this from any Protoss ever.
Yeah, definitely very surprising, especially with the Zerg, because they obviously have semantics. And now he's probably he may not have to even reveal the burrow yet. Yep, there he goes, just going to burrow under the force fields, and now he knows I really need some kind of detection or I'm screwed here. So I'm actually surprised. As soon as that Colossus finishes, there's got to be an observer coming out.
Yeah, the Immortal at the second Robo just finished, and observer should be out in time, so Killer's not going to be able to push in immediately. But that's a huge risk from peawak to not have an observer until this point in time. But a 13.5-minute observer is ridiculous.
Yeah, he didn't have a forge either, so he couldn't build cannons as well. He put that down as well just to have the static detection in his home base. I'm assuming he'll put down a couple of couple of cannons in certain places just to make sure that doesn't happen to him again. But he's, slowly but surely, DKiLLeR is just going to overwhelm him. I mean, now that he's got the gold, just saturating that now, more Vespene gas being produced there as well. So he's going to be fully functional on 4 bases to peawak's 2.
Yeah, and
which
we also
never a good thing.
Sorry, go.
Oh, no worries. You're good now.
Okay. Well, yeah, KiLLeR is also ready for Baneley drops as Vengeful Sax is about to complete, plus range attack, centrifugal hooks. So much just good stuff is coming out of KiLLeR right now. He's getting a macro hatchery outside of his natural expansion. He's just setting up to be in a perfect position. There's still no upgrades out from peawak. He's just now starting his +1 attack on 2 base only. This is really like KiLLeR is just straight up outplaying peawak, but peawak's 2 base macro, so say is pretty incredible right now, as he's only about 40 or 30 food behind.
That is actually quite surprising considering how many bases he is down, but long term, I mean, with all these upgrades, actually a neural parasite being researched as well now, so the infestors are going to come into play at some point and just say, oh, you want to use Colossi? Well, I have something to say about that, and I'm going to vaporize your own army with your own army, so... Yeah. It's increasingly looking more and more grim for peawak as his game progresses. I mean, the tech advantage alone is just going to give KiLLeR anything he could possibly need. I mean, he can pretty much pick a time with the tech advantage he'll have and just win.
Yeah, and these 7 infestors are with this army. This is going to be so hard to deal with. Fungal growth surrounds. This is going to be bad with that. Especially with the roaches having tunneling claws, this force fields are not going to be great. But now we're going to watch all of these lings are going to need to get a good surround on these guys, as the colossi do rip apart lings. And here we're actually in a choke. And oh, KiLLeR's pushing in on a choke.
Oh, here we go with the Baneley drop.
Oh, Baneley drops. Fungal growths everywhere, and KiLLeR is actually using his overlords directly on top of those. Wow, that's just GG. Sentry's gone from everything.
That was it. When I saw the overlords load up with the banelings, I was like, yeah, he doesn't have enough to kill those. They're gonna just tear his army to shreds. So that'll be it. And dignitasKiLLeR, just overpowering his opponent and pushing his way forward in the Zotac Cup number 6.